A little over a year ago, Brad came out and said that signing Josh Reynolds, re-signing him as he was set to become a free agent, was a priority of his. That's the second time we've heard that, the second consecutive year, and both players wind up signing elsewhere. Josh Reynolds goes to the Denver Broncos, signs a 2-year, I want to say it was about a $14 million deal, more than he was making in Detroit. Then we get the tweet from Carlton Davis. Sounds like Brad Holmes might be trying to lowball people. Now, I will say that in the times that Brad Holmes has said a player was a priority and then signed another player, it did wind up working out. I mean, I like Tim Patrick. I think Tim Patrick was a solid wide receiver, and I would not be mad if the Detroit Lions were to re-sign him. However, there is a possibility that he could go elsewhere. I've been seeing some articles and some stuff that he could be linked to the New York Jets. If I'm Tim Patrick, you go from 2 season-ending injuries to a kind of a mini breakout year with the Detroit Lions, from a practice squad to a 53 to kind of a starting role, and you might have created an opportunity for yourself and you might go elsewhere. And if that is the case, should the Detroit Lions re-sign an old but goodie coming from Jordan Schultz and his Twitter account? In what I believe to be a stunning move, the Jacksonville Jaguars will release wide receiver Josh Reynolds per source. It saves the team $4.26 million in cap space. Now, this is not a nostalgia thing for me. This is a thing. I know some of you guys cannot stand this dude. There's no shot of redemption. For some of you, you would be willing to give Josh Reynolds the ability to redeem himself. I don't think that he needs to be redeemed. I think that he was worth what he was asking. Seeing it's about what he signed in Denver, I can only imagine it was something maybe if not less to remain in Detroit. But again, we've seen Brad Holmes and what he does. And this, if Carlton Davis walks and it does indeed come out that it was a pricing thing, a salary thing, then that'll be 3 times now that Brad Holmes has done that. But with the possibility of Tim Patrick signing elsewhere, would you be opposed to a Josh Reynolds reunion? I'm going to say no. No. Tim Patrick, I didn't really give him the benefit of the doubt. And it's going to make me be give a little more leeway on injured players or players coming off a season-ending injury, because of the way that not only Tim Patrick, but DJ Reader worked as well. They worked out pretty good, predominantly healthy, and they kind of, the stereotype of Brad Holmes and signing players, and then you have Marcus Davenport's, right? So it doesn't always work out, but because of what Brad Holmes had done and what it had transpired on our team, I'm like, yo, if I hear you're injured and you coming off a season-ending injury, I'm gonna feel some type of way. That's why I made the video about Joey Bosa. It's we like to joke about it, but there's a lot of truth into that. The 4 corners, the way Brad Holmes signed you, and we talked about this, you'll see this again in a later video, is you need to be over the age of 30, you need to be injury prone, you need to be cheap, and you need to be non-committed, meaning a short deal, 1-2 years max. So would you be opposed to Josh Reynolds coming back? I'm going to say no, especially if Tim Patrick's leave. I thought about Josh last year, and this is where the nostalgia kind of comes in. I was like, dang, when we were killing the game, and I'm like, what if we won the Super Bowl the year after Josh Reynolds left? Brad Holmes, man, he got a little finicky in him. Like, it's 2 times now that we've come out. He said, notice this. Look, I'm not making this up. This is the reality. I just read into sometimes the reality. And it turns out to be true in some regards. Look at what happened with Jamal Williams. It was trouble. Jamal came out, said what he said, and Brad Holmes said what he said before that, said Jamal Williams was a priority, did not re-sign him. We upgraded in David Montgomery, there's no doubt. You did that with Josh Reynolds, the same exact thing. Came out at the owners' meetings, it was a priority. Then you don't hear, everything's quiet, Josh Reynolds camp. The next thing you know, breaking news, he's signing with the Denver Broncos. Now, let's take a look real quick. What happened? Josh Reynolds had a tough season. He had a very tough season. You're going to see something here. Josh Reynolds is 30. He just turned 30. But we're going to compare that to Tim Patrick. had a miserable season. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely miserable. As a matter of fact, his worth might have gone down. Miserable season. Had the situation where he was at whatever place he was at, ran into a little situation, had to take some time off, if you know what I mean, and had a miserable year. It seems like when you leave the Detroit Lions, you have a miserable year. In a lot of cases, both of these guys, Jamal Williams and Josh Reynolds, miserable career. So, but it's time with Detroit. He actually was coming off his best season with us when we let him walk. And I'm not mad that he wanted more. His contract was quite miserable. And don't forget, Josh Reynolds came to us when we were first on the waiver wire. He was one of those people that when we were 13-1, he wanted to be here. He wanted to play with Jared Goff. He wanted to be a Detroit Lion. I think he wanted to be a Detroit Lion in 2024, but Brad Holmes does what he does. Now, you could say Tim Patrick was an upgrade. I'm not going to be mad at you if you say that. I'm not going to go that far. If we look at Tim Patrick, 31, he is 31 years old. He will turn 32 during the season. So you're going to say age. Now, he does outweigh Josh Reynolds by quite a bit. You're talking about almost 20 pounds. Tim Patrick had a pretty good year. How many games did he play in? He played in at least 12. He played in 16 games. 16 games. If you look at the average, I mean, are we really? I think we split hairs. Can we really say that Tim Patrick outdid Josh Reynolds? 16 games versus Josh's 9, was it? It was 9 games, and he only had 1 target or 1 reception off 5 targets with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't forget, he was actually waived by the Denver Broncos after the trade deadline, and the sucky Jacksonville Jaguars, who were like bottom 5 in the NFL, decided to claim this guy. Now, I thought they claimed him with the assumption they were going to have him as a wide receiver for 2025 because he was under contract for another year with the Denver Broncos, signing that 2-year deal. So now it is absolutely ridiculous that they did that, unless they got something up their sleeve. They released Christian Kirk. They're prepping for something probably massive. They've already paid Josh Hines Allen. Could they have a power move like a DK Metcalf in the works? I don't know. But back to Josh Reynolds. Because I know you guys are very nostalgic. You are like, if you play for your team, it doesn't matter if somebody is better. You're going to go to bat for the guy on your team, not necessarily get better. I'm not going to say that Tim Patrick was better than Josh Reynolds. The stats doesn't say that he was. He is taller. He is bigger. He fits more of that role that we need. However, he may not stay. He could outprice himself. There's a lot of things, and I think Josh Reynolds will be on a discount. Now, we know what Brad Holmes likes to do when it comes to a discount, but I'm thinking more of, now to me, Josh Reynolds, there's no need to redeem. You don't have to apologize. It's not too late to say you're sorry, because I don't need an apology from you. The NFC title game, I'm not going to put that on him. I never will. I'm not going to put it on him or Jared Goff. I never will. Or Jahmyr Gibbs. Not going to happen. When your defense is like it is, when Ben Johnson gets cute, kind of makes sense now, don't it? It kind of makes sense now. It all adds up. We can go down that whole rabbit hole. Benedict Johnson. Sorry, I apologize. Got to call him by his full name. When you do all that, I'm not going to do that. So he doesn't need to redeem himself in my eyes, but I wouldn't mind seeing him back. I think he was done dirty by Detroit. I think he was done dirty. And I think he could still be an asset. He is younger. And he could pick up right where he left off. Wouldn't be mad. Doesn't mean we can't still draft somebody later, sign somebody later. I know sometimes you want to start fresh, and I wouldn't be mad at either way. But if we decide to bring him back, I mean, we brought back Marvin Jones, and Marvin had nothing to do with this regime. So I could 100% see us bringing back Josh Reynolds. I don't think that Josh Reynolds would be like Marvin Jones. Isn't it crazy how stuff works? So check this out. This is how my mind works. Lions sign Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones retires midseason, never to be heard from again. I hope he's okay. At the end of that year, Josh Reynolds has the championship snafu, signed somewhere else. And then the full circle moment is Josh Reynolds having played for signing in free agency for the Denver Broncos, playing for 2 teams in 2024, coming back to the Detroit Lions, being able to redeem himself, according to the most of you. I would not be mad either way. If we did, I wouldn't be mad. If we didn't, I wouldn't be mad. I think that if the Detroit Lions have an opportunity to make it right, Josh Reynolds, we already know who he is, what he is, and he didn't really look happy in Denver. I think it was another case of disrespect. Sometimes that can put you in a place, but I think Josh felt disrespected like Jamal did the year before. I think he was. I mean, Brad Holmes, man, I think he was. He really, really was, which is crazy to me because Josh, you got guys that were with us from the beginning. Josh, Alex, those guys were in the mud when we were 3-13-1. Those guys are the guys that Brad Holmes was crying about. I'm sorry, Dan Campbell was crying about when he was interviewed and they talked about that year and how much those guys meant because of the way that team was, what he walked into. So I wouldn't be mad. I'm not going to say that he's better than Tim Patrick. I'm not going to say Tim's better than him. Tim is older. And if you guys are looking at age, Tim is older. You guys like to, stay on age. But I will say this, maybe Brad didn't want him because Josh was relatively healthy and he was under 30. And now he's over 30 coming off an injury season. I can't make this stuff up. Man, I be balling. I be spitting facts, like straight facts. Kobe, shout out to Kobe, man. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And no, I'm not a narcissist. I know of one though. I know a narcissist. It's pretty sad. I just like to have fun. I like to have fun. But this channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. Members, I want you to go check the last video from members only. You'll see my new studio edition. All other viewers, I'm trying to incorporate it in a shot. I don't know how I'm going to do that just yet. Maybe I'll bring it in a video so you guys can see it in action. I am super excited about it. And I can't forget about the Ridge wallet, man. They're back in stock and they're discounted as well. You can get this one for a discounted price, not the same price. They're in stock. I will say, I've been a folding wallet guy my entire life, back pocket, always tapping it down to see if it's there. Well, I still do that with the Ridge wallet, but I will never go back to a regular wallet. I really enjoy the fact that this is like a deck of cards. I got 8 cards in here, debit, credit, got some gift cards, my medical cards, man. And most important, it's got the Lions on it. It's got the Lions on it, man. We'll never go back to a regular wallet. And you know what it made me do? It made me minimize. I opened my wallet when I went to go fill this in, and I had stuff, I kid you not, from years ago. I used to be a school bus driver, and being a school bus driver, you need a medical card. I had my certifications in there from CPR. All of that stuff was in my wallet, and I haven't driven a school bus in over 5 years. I was like, yep, Derek, this was the right. So check out the product link. Get one while you can. Yes, I do earn a small commission, but know this, I will never, ever promote something that I can't get behind. So if you might want to ditch that folding wallet, check out the Ridge wallet, man, and get yourself one. You know what I'm saying? You won't be disappointed. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.